Howdy and hello, my name is Doe, hope we're doing good, and today we have a little Q&A that I'll be answering about Dauntless specifically. So I asked on my YouTube in the community tab if anyone had any questions about the game. So I did a poll because polls get more traction, just how it works. So the numbers don't really matter because apparently almost half the people are just like, people still play that? I kind of knew that'd be like the most picked one. Sag. Why is the Unseen Cult the only group of people that worship Shroud? More people need to worship that guy. This is coming from level 25 Shroud, apparently. I don't know. I feel like people don't really want to worship the behemoths that are destroying their towns or their way of life. Which they said it could be the same for the behemoths, but hey, the behemoths need to know their role in that case, all right? Lucky we can't eat them. They're just Aether, apparently. I'm a player who maxed out leveling in the Arkstones era and stopped playing shortly before the Reforged update and the Hunting Grounds update. Could you do a short summary of it for a returning player? Love how you're still making an effort on this game. Oh, you know me. Always putting forward that effort, you know what I'm saying? A short, like a quick little, TLDR is you do Hunting Grounds or Escalation, you get weapon XP, reforge your weapon, and when you reforge your weapon, you get Aether Hearts at level 20, and after that, you can just use that to power surge gear, making it as strong as it can be. Rinse and repeat. That's basically the new process. Yeah. Why is the max weapon level 20 when there are creatures that can exceed that limit? Challenge. That's why. Challenge. There's no point in making it to where you match the behemoth's level, because the whole point of the behemoth's level being higher than your level is challenge. What systems / new content are you most excited about coming to Dauntless in the near or distant future? I'm excited for like the soul changes. Repeater's getting refreshed, even though it's going to be nice, but I hope they get some other changes, because Repeater still can't interrupt well. If any of y'all say, like, you can use the Saboteur's Grip, you can shut the heck up, okay? That's terrible. Terrible idea. But I'm kind of excited for those two things, because I have no idea. I'm not really sure what else is happening past that. You should play Monster Hunter World. I've got like 200 hours in the game. Not bad. It's just not really for me. How do I most effectively level up my weapons for Aether Hearts? You do escalation 1 through 10 until you're like level 10, I guess. And then you do escalation, or you do Hades Reach for a little bit, and then you go into escalation 10 to 50. I think. I don't know. There's videos on it. I'm just like sort of like going off what I heard in the Discords. Fast way to get cell cores playing the game. Yeah, just playing the game. Maybe doing your masteries, things like that. Logging in, getting your daily login cores. Those are the fastest ways that I'm aware of. Ever since Rise released, I never went back. Nice question. Good job, G Doyle. Good question. We love to see that. I'd hate to see your test scores. Kind of what? Homie can't read. New weapons would be amazing, as others said, like bow, etc. Another great question. Love to see it. I'm excited. Hopefully they do release the bow, because at the moment, I'm not really sure they're working on it. I'm pretty sure they said they aren't. So it's going to be a while. But I'm hopeful that they have some exotics planned, because I think exotics are a lot easier to make than making a whole new weapon. And I'm cool with exotics. If an exotic actually feels exotic, which most exotics are old, so not much can be said about them. But like Twin Suns felt good, and they still feel pretty fun. So hopefully they can do some cool stuff with that. When is there going to be an OhDough armor set that makes you one-hit kill enemies? That'd be cool and balanced. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool to have, like, dude, if they ever released a bow and in some way, shape, or form my name was tied to it, that'd be the sickest thing. Because I've been wanting a bow. Doe rhymes with bow. Call it the O bow. That'd be dumb, but they could do something. I've gone to Rise. I'm unsure if I'm going back. It was fun though. Another great question. Let's go. Love to see these questions. Definitely not a statement. 100% a question. I think I'm gonna play Monster Hunter Rise whenever it's out on PC. I just don't want to play. I don't want to play games on a Nintendo Switch. It's not what I want to do in my life. When will they add a new weapon? No idea. Reforged was a stupid update and turned me away since I lost all my progress. I will actually agree to an extent. I think you're right in some capacity, because it was actually dumb that how they did Reforge. Am I like scrolling too high, you think? That's fine. Reforged update was weird because it did actually do some dumb stuff. They made it so players that basically had more or less the max stuff got penalized. Like, if you had like plus 10 gear, which was just barely weaker than having plus 15 gear, you should get either a full Aether Heart or dang close to a full Aether Heart, but that wasn't the case. You got so little compensation for that effort, and I think that was a really bad misplay from Dauntless, aka Phoenix Labs' side of the court. Like, I think they messed it up really bad. So I kind of agree with that. I think that part of the whole, like, the way they transferred progress was terrible. Do you think they should make a neutral escalation? Personally, I think it would be cool. Was that cool face, sad face? How many emojis you got, dude? What do you like, the emoji factory? What is this? No, I don't think so. I think escalations have kind of like, they've overstayed their welcome in their current state. I'm excited for heroic escalations. I think that could be cool. Why are the iframes when dodging so bad? If you use anything other than chain blades, they're not. Dauntless is pretty lenient with that kind of stuff. Can they give repeaters max pain style dive shooting mechanics? Why do you move the slowest, holding the lightest weapons in the game? They should add some mechanics to repeaters in that kind of sense. That'd be sick. Like, just like not like the Twin Suns, but like maybe a tactical roll reload, anything. I don't know how long I've been playing for, but I still don't fully understand the armor and cell stuff. It's very simple. You ever, like, as a kid, it's like put the square peg in the square hole. It's like it's the same thing. You put the technique cell in the technique slot. Okay, the max that you can get from that is +6. So having 2 +3s is the max you can have. So if you have like a +3 predator on the armor as the stat, and there's like a technique cell slot, if you put in +3 predator in there, that's the max you should ever have of that cell, in this case predator. For me, it feels like once all the elements have gotten an escalation, there will be some sort of finale where it's kind of a content deadline for the game. Well, they aren't really going to be releasing any more escalations as far as I know. They're doing heroic escalations, but they're not releasing like a neutral escalation or a radiant escalation. So there's no like finale. The progression for Dauntless in terms of content is like releasing new behemoths, new weapons, hopefully new exotics, hopefully, and keeping that fresh and adding new ways to interact with the game, which is smart. Maybe one day we'll get skyfishing back. Who knows? Okay, this is actually a question. I like to like skim through it and be like, is this a question or is it a statement? I swear. Question: do you think the game has evolved positively since release, not beta or early access? Yes, I think release was terrible. What change would you consider massively pros and which horrible cons? What changes would you consider massively pros and which horrible cons? Like, which changes would I want implemented, or which changes have been made to the game that made it better or worse? I'll go ahead and do the latter. So I think that when Dauntless released, where it had like, the crossplay launch and all that stuff, that's what I consider to be its release. Even though I know the full release was like strikers and whatnot. But whenever crossplay happened, they released Trials. And I think Trials was, in all honesty, the worst thing they ever added to Dauntless. To this day, it's still terrible. It's still like the things that happen in Trials they don't make much sense. And the ways that they do Trials is by adding modifiers, right? Well, recently they had the Elder and Primal Behemoths. Primal Behemoths weren't that bad. Elder Behemoths were terrible. And the whole idea from there was just to slap on some modifier, in this case, like some random floating shields that look like they're from Fortnite. I think that Trials was terrible because it made the devs think that they could just slap stuff onto a behemoth and call it a day, instead of actually taking the time to tailor something to the behemoth and making it its own, or make it make sense. You have Nasher with like Leaf Shield, and I'm just like, no, I said it, it's cracked, brother. Just kidding, it sucks. So I'm not a fan of that. Ever since Reforged update, I just retired, lost all effort I had to max my weapons and armor. See, that's a common thought, and I don't think it's like a wrong thing to think that happened, because that's what happened. Like, your progress basically got taken away from you in a pretty harsh manner. I still think they should give back more Aether Hearts even now. I think that would actually help. Do you think the Chronovore was designed by the same guy who designed Blaze Reza? That fight's terrible. I think that Chronovore is a lot better than Blaze Reza. I think Blaze Rezakiri is one of the worst fights in the game. Chronovore isn't that bad. It just has pretty dumb hitboxes. Like, as far as like the mechanics go, it's fine. Like, Blaze Reza doesn't have bad hitboxes. It just has dumb mechanics. Chronovore has like 1 or 2 dumb mechanics, whereas Blaze Reza, almost the entire fight is just dumb mechanics. So I don't know. I'm actually not sure who designed that fight. When the Reforged came out, we were given hearts to make up for the level 15 weapons we had as they lost their levels. But why did we not get Reforged levels for each heart we were given? This to give players something to work towards. Like, it's actually not a good thing whenever you add a new system and you change the way the game's played, and you just give the people who've been playing your game like all the XP for like entirely. Because they did do that to an extent. Like there were things on the Slayer's path that you were just given if you had already gotten it, which is fine to an extent. But if, let's say, you had like plus 15 weapons and they just gave you like 10 Reforged levels for that weapon, that'd be crazy. You'd have nothing to progress for. 47% of 3.5k voters wonder if people still playing Dauntless. I feel I lost my hope. Welcome to the club, brother. Nah, Dauntless is still a good game. Like, I think Dauntless is still... It's still one of those games I go back to and I still play. Like... And I also enjoy it. I think that's an important thing to say. I also enjoy the game when there's new content to play. I can also hate it sometimes because some things haven't changed in a while, but hey. Pros and cons. Will Flameborn Resident Valamir ever be fixed? I don't know. One could hope, but I don't know. Is there any way to make a good Stormclaw sword build? I mean, Stormclaw sword isn't bad. You just slap on the meta cells, Predator, Overpower, maybe some Cascade, Discipline, Wild Frenzy, Rage. There's your build. You're welcome. Welcome to the past like a year and a half of Dauntless. How to make a game fun to play. You play a bunch of random things. You try different things. Try different weapons, you know? Challenge yourself in weird ways. That's like the only way to make the game fun. That's why like people always will be like, are you like this main? It's like, I play whatever's fun. Will that visual bug in the tunnel under the spawn area in the lobby ever be fixed? What? I have no idea what you're talking about, but maybe. Maybe not. What does Reforging do? I'm currently at Reforged 10, about to Reforge again. You get buffs in your Slayer's Path, and you also get Aether Hearts, so Reforging is good. You want to do it. Please do a video on where to start for returning new players. I'm not going to do that right now. I'll do it in the future when they have like more changes happening, but Revy's doing that, so peep his content. But I'm not going to do it right now. I was going to, but I was like, eek, I can't play this game with the atrocious attack speed. That's one thing I think they're going to address is base attack speed in Dauntless is disgustingly slow. And I think attack speed in general should just kick the dust. Like, have attack speed be related to abilities and amps, but not cells. I think that's an issue. Whenever you have attack speed related to cells, not good, bro. Because then you have it to this point where if you don't have a build that uses those cells, it doesn't feel good. Can I still get the Escalation Behemoth Ultra Armor and other stuff? Yes, you can. That'll never go away. You'll always be able to get that armor. That's meant to be something that you can actually unlock by playing the game, which is great. So that'll never go away. What are some tips to keep the game fresh and enjoyable? Play different things. Play different weapons. Try and make fun builds, which is very difficult, but you can try. Like shield builds are fun because it's like not really a different build. You just do Tenacious and some other meta cells and see how high you can stack your shields. That's what I do sometimes. Could you update your old sword tier list video? Like a part 2 maybe. Here's a part 2. Everything else is still more or less correct, I think. And just slap in Pangar sword. It's really goated. Better than Boreas sword IMO in most cases. There's a tier list. I stopped playing this game a year ago and went back. It's not a question. Frickin' heck. Can you upgrade gear? It only gives me the option to power surging it even when my weapon isn't maxed out. Power surging is the way you upgrade gear. You craft gear and you power surge it and then you're done. It's obvious to viewers that follow your channel for a while that you are ready to move on from it until more content has been released, as you usually do. However, I also feel that you've reached a turning point where you no longer get enjoyment from it like you once had. I still like playing it. It's one of those things where I made content for the game and I saw like this crazy growth from it, and now that doesn't happen like much at all. So that plays a part in my lack of enjoyment, and I'm just playing the same thing a lot. So when there's no content out, it's just rough. And there was a time where it just sucked because I realized that I couldn't really make different content on this channel unless it was like in a certain genre, like mostly player versus environment genre. Like if I try to post Apex content, which I like doing, it wouldn't do well, and it actually hurt my channel. So I made a second channel and I post on TikTok, and that kind of gives me the enjoyment from seeing that do well, and sometimes, which helps me mentally. I'm such a completionist that I torture myself to keep playing. I took a long break from September 2019 to July 2020. I think I'm due for another long Dauntless break. Plus, I enjoyed it more when I didn't play for a long time. Yeah, I think it's smart with Dauntless in particular. It's a live service game. They'll keep making content for the game. It is smart to play other things in between playing Dauntless. That's smart. That's what helps me. Like playing Apex helps me a lot when I go back to playing Dauntless, because then I'm like, all right, I got this break. I'm playing a different game. I'm enjoying it. And then new content for Dauntless comes out, boom, I'm on that, and I enjoy it. Like whenever there's new content for Dauntless, most of the time, actually pretty much every time there's been new content for Dauntless in the recent history of the game, I've enjoyed it to some extent. I've enjoyed it enough to where I'm like, dang, I had a good time playing the game. I'm glad I haven't uninstalled the game. So it's smart to take breaks. What spells should I use? Should I be using for each weapon? The same ones. Hope that helps. Fastest way to get Aether Heart solo. Escalation 1 through 10 for a bit, then you do Hades Reach, then you do Escalation 10 to 50. It's the fastest way. I got to in-game in like 5 days and completed the BP during that time. Dauntless is enjoyable, but there's no loop that makes me want to stay. It definitely feels more arcadey, which is great, but not much of gameplay loop other than trials and escalation for builds. Yeah, that's the game. That's why the hope is that that's why with Dauntless, you want there to be a lot more different things you can do. More fun builds, more fun ways to play weapons, stuff like that. And it's kind of missing that feature. Like, your mods and your specials for weapons aren't that different, and most of them aren't very cool, so you just play the same one all the time. Cells aren't really that cool. They don't really do much aside from you do more damage, you attack faster, yada, yada, yada. Nothing, like, super interesting. That's where they have to really figure out the game out. IMO. Like, working on a new weapon like a bow or a scythe. Last I heard, they stopped that for a bit, but bow was, like, confirmed as the next weapon, so when there's a new weapon, it's most likely going to be a bow. Will they ever make a neutral Apex Behemoth? I don't know. Why is everyone saying Apex Behemoth? You mean like Escalation? Are gauntlets the highest DPS weapon in the game, ignoring a 4-charge axe, and how many tries do you do in doing a Dauntless trial? Are gauntlets the highest damage weapon in the game? I think that hammer is, but I could be wrong. Ignoring a 4-charge axe, blah, blah, blah. How many tries do you do in doing a Dauntless trial? Depends. If I'm like trying something new, a couple. If I'm like playing like tenacious repeaters with Scar and Prism, 1. You know, you just play to your strengths or play things that are really easy. If you could explain in depth the Reforged system, I think that would help a lot of people. I kind of did. I've also got videos on these topics. I've got a video for reforging weapons and reforging armor and like what's a good reforge. Although for armor right now, reforging the time we've set is like the best thing you can do. I like the game, but all I have left to do is reforge everything and get new skins. Yeah. Yeah, like a big thing for me is like doing my weeklies and making sure I can buy the, what can I buy? Buy the things in the reward cache, the cosmetics for free. That's like my main thing now that I keep forgetting to do. I should actually do it now. It's going to be Thursday soon. It resets then. Why is Ragestone Asher still in the game? Ragestone Asher was actually a good fight for a long time, and then they changed the AI, and now all he does like the entire time is flip and send out trimmers, and it's the dumbest thing. I'm not sure why that happened. What's your hammer build? There's videos on that. People still play that? Yes, they do. Thank you very much. Why don't they add a new weapon? There's more pressing matters at hand. Like the devs use data to like figure things out, and you don't really need data to be like, all right. For instance, the sword rework. Not everyone plays sword, so doing like a rework or adding a new weapon, it's not always the best solution. Like a better solution in some cases is making the systems that every single weapon uses better. Why do you personally hate the mounting mechanics? Because I think they're fun. I think they're boring. They're not even cool to look at really. So mounting, right? You see an Aether Jet, hit the Aether Jet, slingshot to a Behemoth. That's kind of cool. And then after that, it's just like you're doing little damage, you're just spamming. There's no combos. There's nothing cool you can do. You can't interrupt a Behemoth doing that. There's just nothing about it that's like mechanically interesting or visually interesting aside from the moment when you lasso the Behemoth. After that, boring. Any tips for Shroud? Be patient. Stop playing a bit before rework launched. Are my baby chain blades still good? They're busted right now. They have like the most iframes in the game for no reason when you're using Reaper's Dance. Can you revert the update now? Can you honestly still recommend the game to players who love Dauntless because of the never stop scaling method? Who love Dauntless because of the never stop scaling method? What does that mean? Do you think Reforged would have been better off as an expansion to the game rather than forcing everyone into it? No. Why did you? I think that Reforged was just done poorly. Like the overall like way it works is done pretty well. If you gave more XP to players that are reforging, I think that'd be a decent thing to do. Like, give 100 more XP at the top end, and I think it'd be fine. I'm only commenting because I want you to make a vid. Why is it when I try to add more damage to my build, I always end up with Cunning and Thorax armor? Because you're built different. That's why. Do you think the Hunger will have a more updated build? Not really. I mean, kinda, but not really. It's gonna be like most of the same, except you're gonna have like 2 more or 1 more decent cell because it has a stat for the weapon now. Will they ever have private hunts again? They do. You just hunt solo. You can do all the content in Dauntless by yourself. That's private. You better be making videos about the update coming regarding them removing Iceborne Discipline and other mods. I will when the content's here. So I technically do get access to things early, but recently I'd rather just log into the game, experience it when it releases like everyone else, and just make content then. So I'll make content for it. It might be a bit late, but it'll be there, most likely. Dauntless is not the same anymore. Yeah, that's true. I think most of the changes were for the better though. I just grind the hunt pass and I have no idea how to play the game. I just like cosmetics. And that's fine, you know? I think that's pretty cool. I'm glad that Dauntless is actually making better cosmetics because that is a good feature to have in a game. Like in a game like Dauntless, you want the cosmetics to be really good when you earn them and also really good if you decide to buy them, because at the end of the day, buying cosmetics is probably a pretty big portion of the game's revenue. I don't have numbers, but I'd imagine. So having a good cosmetics in the store, good cosmetics in the hunt pass, and also good cosmetics you can earn is important. You don't want to just have like meh cosmetics, bro. It's not a Dauntless question, but I'll answer it. What legend do you like to play in Apex? Most of them, if not all of them. Why is Dauntless not more popular than it is? Why do you think? What do you think turns people off from making it their main game? It's not as popular as it could be. There's a lot of bugs. The gameplay loop isn't super interesting, and the combat is not for everyone, I guess. That's probably like the main reason. It's not like an FPS. It's not like a MOBA. Those are like the really popular genres of games. It's not super difficult either, so it doesn't attract that hardcore audience. I don't know. I think Dauntless is doing some good stuff. It just doesn't have like a whole lot of depth to it, which is a problem. And it doesn't have a lot of like wow factor moments, like where it's like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. That isn't really like super. There's not like a lot of those moments that happen in the game, which is a detriment to the game. Do try Monster Hunter. Any of them are fun. I played Monster Hunter World. It wasn't like a bad time. Like I played like I said, a lot of hours, but yeah, wasn't entirely for me. If they gave an axe an exotic, what element and unique effect would it be? I would hope for like probably an umbral axe would be sick. If not, a frost axe would be like my go-to, I think. What is the real endgame of Dauntless? Please not say the Dauntless fashion. I mean, it is cosmetics. The endgame is just getting whatever you want. Just getting the best gear that you can get and getting good at the game is the endgame. Okay, I think that's it. Hopefully that answers some of y'all's questions. I tried, you know, answer the questions, kept a good attitude, I think at least. But that's the video, y'all. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys aren't already, be sure to use credit code OhDough in the Epic Games Store. Helps me out a freaking ton. I appreciate that. If you don't use my code, use someone's code. And I do stream at Twitch TV at twitch.tv/OhDough. And I have a other YouTube channel at OhDoughless and a TikTok at OhDoughless. So peep it out. I'd appreciate it. Catch y'all laters. Bye.